Welcome to KaiChi Live. I'm KaiChi, and this is my recap on the 2012 TMNT. This season's 5, episode 9, titled Kagayake Kintaro. We begin in the beginning of the episode. We see the Turtles and Usagi and Kintaro, continue their journey to the Sky Temple in order to keep Kintaro safe. As they were walking, all of a sudden a boulder fell down the middle of the road, blocking their way. And the turtle tried to decide how to get around it or either remove that boulder. In fact, the boulder is really big. And we see Kintaro, as usual, being a spoiled brat and complaining all the time, saying that how important he was, and talk about his incredible strength, even though he doesn't have access to it. I think one of the turtles, either Raphael or Donatello, challenged him to move the boulder. Kintaro tried his best to move his boulder because of the myth of him having great strength, but unfortunately for him, he wasn't able to, and all the turtles made fun of him. This is where Usagi stepped in, and he moved the boulder by using, I guess, a lever. I think I remember that he removed some of the rocks. The boulder fell between the mountain and the few rocks. He easily removed some of the rocks, and the boulder was easy to move away. He mentioned to Kintaro that strength, using his head is better than using his strength, and the groups continuing on their journey to the Sky Temple. As they continue on with their journey to the Sky Temple, they were attacked by ninja cats, ninja neckos, I think. In the book, Yojimbo Usagi, the book, they were I guess a ninja clan that were neckos or cats. They were in this version they were wearing white suits in order to play in the background, and they would fight. They were sent by Jade in order to capture Kintaro. But the Turtles and Usagi was able to save Kintaro and able to fend off against the ninja neckos. As they continued their journey, Kintaro began to learn compassion and less being a spoiled brat from Usagi and the Turtles. And we finally get up to the Sky Temple. When they get up to the Sky Temple and going through the gates, we found it deserted, and which is a little creepy. And the turtle was really suspicious, and they were on their guard. And all of a sudden, Jade and Sumo Kumo showed up. The Turtles and Usagi easily took Sumo Kumo out, but for some reason his wolf samurai wasn't with them. So I found that was strange, and it doesn't make sense. Why didn't you bring with them? Did they just disappear or left behind somewhere? After they defeated Sumo Kumo, Jade decided to step in, and unfortunately for the Turtles and Usagi, they were no match. At this point, Jade revealed that the Turtles was in fact not having escaped his influence, and he decided to recapture them and put his influence again, mind control, and order the Turtles to attack Usagi. Fortunately for Usagi, Kintaro was able to tap in his holy power and his incredible strength, and he easily defeated the Turtles and Jade. Unfortunately, it was part of Jade's plan. So in order to Kintaro to tap in his incredible strength and his holy power, he needed the Turtles and Usagi to teach Kintaro how to be less of a spoiled brat and be more compassionate and trust in his friends. He was able to capture Kintaro, even though Kintaro was supposed to be incredibly powerful, but he was able to capture him. Usagi did his best to try to save Kintaro from Jade, but he wasn't able to. Fortunately for Usagi, because of Kintaro tapping his powers, he was able to knock the influence out, Jade influence out of the Turtles. As we see in the background, while Usagi Jade was distracted by Usagi, and we see the Turtles realizing they were no more influence from Jade. The Turtle decided to trick Jade, making him think they were still under influence, and try to hold back Usagi while he tried to perform his ritual in order to put his soul into Kintaro's body. This is where we find out what was going on with Jade and how he became immortal. He somehow worshipped some new god. They never get into it, unfortunately, which I kind of want to know more about. But it seems like these new gods gave him the power to be immortal, and it seems like he had to going to another body in order to continue to be immortal. While Jade was trying to start her incantation of the ritual, the turtle gives a hint to Usagi that they're alright, and the turtle and Usagi try to attack against Jade. Which we get like an epic battle between the turtle, Usagi, and Jade. Unfortunately for the turtle group and Usagi, Jade was much more powerful, and he easily defeated the turtles. Fortunately for Kintaro, Usagi didn't give up. The fight led out outside the gates of the temple over a crossbridge. We see Jade. Usagi did his best to fight off Jade. In fact, he took. I think he lost his samurai sword at one point, and he was using Leonardo. And at this, I guess Usagi didn't give up. He was able to stab Jade and able to kick him off the bridge, which we get scene that we think he died, maybe, because we just don't know what's going on with Jade immortality. I should mention that because this is the first time we actually see like a real stab, because like in the previous episode we don't actually see it. We get hints of it, like how Shredder stabbed Splinter in like I think it was either season 5 or season 6. Beginning Orbit before they went up to space, he got stabbed, and we don't see it. But in this, we actually see the stab, which is really good after this last season, and they just want to go out on a high note. After destroying Jade, all his influence was destroyed, and we find out that Sumokumo was in fact the abbot or the leader or the head monk of the Sky Temple. And we found out that Kintaro was supposed to be some kind of king for that temple, and where he would be safe. And this we find out how the turtles were able to get back home. Sumokumo mentioned that magic was the thing that brought Turtle in, and it was magic or something magic was going to get them back home. And we see Kintaro using his axe to open a rift between the space-time continuum, whatever, in order for the turtles to get back home. And the turtles, saying goodbye to Kintaro and their new friend Usagi. We then see Usagi pick up the turtle tokens, the ones that Jay used to bring the turtles back, and tied on his katana, his sword, and began to leave. We get basically those. I guess I'm assuming that the samurai scene where we see the kid, or like the western, where the kid comes out and asks Usagi. Kintaro asks Usagi whether or not he should stay, or will he ever see him again, and he does. Saying his goodbyes. Like at the end of a samurai movie, we get we see the hero go off to the sunset, or I guess a snowstorm for Usagi's case, and we see the kanji end. So so that was basically the end of the episode. Oh, and this overarch. Overall, this episode was okay, but I'm not saying it's bad or not. But it's just that it seems a little bit rushed because they have to finish it up, unfortunately, and this is the last season. And I mentioned in my previous review and recap that I want to see more of this world, Yojimbo Usagi. And like I mentioned before, I'm surprised it hasn't been adapted to a cartoon, or Usagi showed up, but that doesn't really count. Like the main cartoon to see his adventure. And this shows if this actually the views people who are interested, we might actually get one. And I'm hoping that the producer for this Teenage Mutant Turtles 2012 incarnation, I'm hoping that he might actually get a chance to do it, because the world is really beautiful besides the landscape, and the characters are more than interesting because there are more characters in it besides Kintaro. I think Kintaro and Sumokumo are the ones that are actually new. I don't think they're actually in the comics. But Jade is in it, and he's an interesting character, but they unfortunately shortened it. But then again, it's just a snippet of it, and you might actually see him again. I'm hoping that you actually have some sort of cartoon or series of it. I really enjoyed this episode, and I'm looking forward to the next episode and future episode of unfortunately the last season of the 2012 TMNT. Thank you for watching this video. If you like this video, hit that likes button. Click over here to watch my previous recap on the 2012 TMNT and previous videos, and click over here. Subscribe to my channel KaiChi Life for future nerd geeky videos. Thank you.